Will admitted to me that he had sex with Bryshere Gray, but it was consensual, right?
He said, you know Will raped me. You know Diddy made me suck his penis. You know what's going on. You know Charlie made me suck. Well, I'm going to give you a chapter from the book since I owed you something.
Okay.
In the book, in one of the chapters, it talk about mentorship. So I grabbed my husband. I said, listen, I don't know. I didn't know what happened. Nothing. I was just asked to come.
Is this true?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna let you about to see if it's true from the paperwork. Oh, we telling something that got paperwork involved.
You know, he's surrounded by a whole lot of strength. He's surrounded by a whole lot of love, and all he has to do is add discipline, and he gonna be all right.
It's like Uncle Will, you know. Who is best to give you advice? And it's Will Smith, and I'm getting so much good advice.
A lot of stuff is about to come out about Will, Jada, and Charlie Mack. It is going to be unbelievable.
They're both bisexual. They do weird things in their house, and young men have left their house screaming to get away from them in their mentorship. Meek Mills, Bryshere Gray left that house screaming. August the only one that stayed, and I guess he was really sick. He needed a dog.
It's no secret in Hollywood that Jada hates me because I have a strong relationship with Will and I do my own thing.
Why don't she hate Dwayne?
I can't answer that question.
Why don't she hate Dwayne Martin?
Well, she's gonna love anybody that treats her like she's a god, right? When you're a narcissist and a sociopath like she is, and I'll get into that.
You know, but when you lose your man card, that's the only thing I can think of. You lose your damn man card.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it, a man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
No, I'm saying what I'm saying. You don't get that back. You come into this world as a man one time. You give up that right for anything, for fear of being hurt, fear of somebody doing something, for wanting to gain something. When you give up that man card right, you lose some spiritual energy that has always been pushing through. Like if a woman gives up her womanly right, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Get punked out and picked out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man.
Say what now? Because the name lighting up online chatter is Bilal, someone the internet says was once connected to Will Smith's inner circle years back. And Bilal isn't tiptoeing around anything. He's making some of the boldest claims you can throw at a major celebrity, suggesting that access, influence, and fame were used to pull certain young men into close spaces that raised serious eyebrows. According to Bilal, those situations crossed boundaries people online now describe as deeply disturbing behavior. He goes even further by tying those claims to Bryshere Gray, arguing that what allegedly happened behind closed doors may explain why Bryshere's life later appeared unstable, including his unexpected presence in explicit online content that shocked a lot of viewers. That's the angle gaining traction, and it's exactly why this story
door to Dwayne's dressing room, and that's when I see Dwayne and having anal sex with Will.
Let me process that for a second.
There was a couch, and Will was bent over on the couch, and Dwayne was standing up on him. Murder, like murder. There was murder in there.
Refuses to stay buried. Every time it resurfaces, it pulls more attention, more reactions, and more heated debate. And as if things weren't already tense, Bilal claims that once he started speaking publicly, Jada Pinkett Smith reacted with intense anger, and pressure followed fast from multiple directions. He describes alleged intimidation, heavy pushback, and situations that quickly turned legal, framing it as something far bigger than online drama. In his words, this wasn't gossip for clicks. This was a fight. And here's why this all exploded in the first place. Bilal didn't just tease hints or vague suggestions. He went straight at Will during a heated interview on Tasha K's show, and the way he delivered those statements had viewers frozen, replaying clips and asking serious questions that still haven't gone away. Bilal didn't hold back at all. He made extremely vivid claims, saying he personally witnessed an inappropriate private moment involving Will Smith and actor Dwayne Martin. He framed it as something he saw firsthand in a closed setting, and even without repeating details, it was enough to send the internet into a full meltdown. The reaction was instant and explosive. Clips started flying everywhere. Reaction videos popped up nonstop, and social media turned into a loud echo chamber overnight.
We put out the interview. All we put out was a clip that went ultra viral. Okay? Yeah. Everybody in the world got this clip. It was trending for days on Twitter. Okay? Before the interview comes out, what shocked me is Jada is doing her book promotional for Worthy.
Yes.
She goes to the Breakfast Club and she sits down and they ask her about you, but they can't not ask. Like, it's so huge.
Right.
And to my surprise, she answers.
It's ridiculous, right? And it's nonsense. And this is a person that tried a shakedown, a money shakedown that didn't work. We're going to take legal action.
The reason Will responded, the reason why Jada responded, because they know it's true. Will's never responded. And they responded in less than 9 hours.
They did. That was a fast response.
That was because he know what I saw in that dressing room. He know other things that I saw. She did all this to try to scare me, but I fear no one but Allah. Jada, listen, in 2 weeks, if you don't sue me in 2 weeks, if Tasha K will have me, I'm back here and I'm dropping evidence. Period. You said I extorted you. You said as a money shakedown. You said a lot of things about me. And you know that the things that you said were untrue. Let's get into a little bit more of it. Jada runs Will. Period. Me and her at war. I'm gonna put Will to the side. Will is to the side. Me and Jada, I will say this because I know you're watching. I know Karen Tense is watching.
Who's Karen Tense?
That is her PR person for years.
Okay.
Right? I know they're watching. Jada, you're a bald head liar and you're a drug addict, right?
Oh, God.
You told the world that you were going to sue me. As of yet, and you said you're going to do it swift. It's been over 2 weeks. So, Jada, I'm giving you 2 more weeks to sue me. If you don't sue me, this is what's going to happen. All the parties, right? And the men that you hit with dildos, I'm naming names, right? All the salacious stuff that you have done and hurt other people, I'm naming names. You assassinate my character. You say I extort you. Well, extortion is criminal. Like, I would be in jail right now if I tried to extort.
Once the interview went viral, the noise got impossible to ignore, and every angle of the story was being debated at the same time. According to Bilal's side, the pushback came fast. He claims that within hours of the interview spreading, legal warnings appeared and pressure mounted to silence him. He also alleges that Jada Pinkett Smith accused him of trying to squeeze money out of her and Will before speaking publicly, painting him as someone chasing attention and cash. That's where the narrative split right down the middle. One side said he got caught exaggerating, while the other believed the pressure was meant to scare him quiet. But here's where things got even messier. Instead of backing down, Bilal doubled up. He returned to Tasha K's show for part 2, came in hotter, called Jada out directly, challenged the legal pressure, and hinted that if they wanted a full-scale fight, he wasn't planning to step back at all. That move alone is what made a lot of people pause and say, wait a minute. Most people don't keep talking like this when they believe legal action is around the corner. And that's why it stuck with so many viewers, because usually when someone is bluffing, they go quiet fast and start backtracking hard. The pattern is almost always the same. Once attorneys get involved, people disappear, posts get deleted, statements get softened, and everything suddenly turns vague.
Story short, when I'm in Chicago, this guy's acting erratic. Like, I mean, crazy. He's getting stopped by the cops. There's male prostitutes involved. There's mental illness involved. There's drug use involved. And I'm really trying to see what happened to this guy. And one day he said, you know what happened. You know that Will R-worded me, or however y'all kind of say it on YouTube. You know that Diddy assaulted me. And you know Charlie Mack made me suck his private part. Right? And I'm like, whoa. This was a full admittance. And He's going, and I'm like, I didn't know anything. He's in the corner, balled up, snot, so much sweating and pain that blood is coming from his nose, right? And this is me and him in a conversation. And he was like, please don't tell him. Please don't tell him, right? Will admitted to me that he had sex with Bryshere Gray, but it was consensual, right? So I'm like, okay, so now it's starting to make sense, because I would have never believed that the way this guy's acting, something had to happen. So now, Will told me, and this is going to be in paperwork and everything, right? So when Will told me that he did have sexual intercourse with Bryshere, he said Bryshere did ask him to stop. Will said he completed the act, then stopped. Right then and there, when a person says stop, that means stop. Period. So I do believe that Will Smith assaulted Bryshere Gray. Charlie Mack and Will gets a lawyer for Bryshere, and they try to get me under NDA. I tell Will, I'm not signing. I don't even have an NDA with you. How am I getting an NDA with him? You understand what I'm saying? So I hire a lawyer, right? Mm-hmm. When I hire the lawyer, he comes back and say, listen, this is the best I can do. He said, I'm going to have y'all do a mutual NDA, meaning that Bryshere can't tell people that you know that Will and Diddy actually assaulted him. And I want to say the R word, but I know we're on YouTube. Then you can't say nothing about him. So I said, okay, well, as long as he stopped telling people that I know what Will and Diddy did to him. You understand what I'm saying? Period. That was the problem. So there's legal paperwork, and it's all going to be, and you got to follow this case. All that's coming up.
But Bilal did the complete opposite. He kept showing up, kept talking, and kept turning the volume up like he had nothing to protect or lose. Now, that doesn't prove he's telling the truth at all. But it does explain why a big part of the internet stopped treating this like just another rumor cycle and started watching it like a real situation unfolding in real time. And he wasn't finished yet. Bilal then appeared on another podcast called Make It Make Sense, and that's where he pushed the storyline even further. He tried to frame Will Smith as a younger version of Sean Combs, suggesting a similar power dynamic. Bilal alleged that mentorship was used as a selling point, offering opportunity, guidance, connections, and the full Hollywood dream package. But he claims the reality didn't match the promises, saying some people felt pressured into uncomfortable situations while their careers stalled instead of advancing. He also suggested that once someone was no longer useful, they were pushed aside, and he hinted at a wider pattern where individuals were redirected toward other powerful industry figures, adding another unsettling layer to an already explosive story. Again, these are Bilal's claims, but it's easy to see why the internet grabbed onto this so fast. It fits right into a Hollywood pipeline storyline that many people already believe exists behind the scenes. When narratives line up with long-standing suspicions, they spread quicker and hit harder. Bilal then took it even further. He claimed that Will Smith privately admitted to wrongdoing connected to Bryshere Gray, and he hinted that written records might exist backing up serious boundary-crossing accusations. That alone was enough to send shockwaves through comment sections. Because once someone starts saying documents exist, people stop treating the story like gossip. They want proof, timelines, and names.
He's with my man Charlie Mack, so Charlie was with me every step of the way. First out the limo, so Charlie has been with me, 30 years coming up in the business. So, he's surrounded by a whole lot of strength. He's surrounded by a whole lot of love. And all he has to do is add discipline, and he gonna be all right.
It's like Uncle Will, Who is best to give you advice? And it's Will Smith, and I'm getting so much good advice. I got my first acting role, Empire, and it's changing my life. And it's like I'm listening from the greatest, and it's like making me well.
That's when speculation turns into pressure, and the spotlight gets way brighter. And since Bryshere Gray's name has already been tied to years of online rumors, Bilal's claims poured fuel onto something that was already burning hot. For a long time, there's been chatter that Bryshere was pulled into elite circles under the promise of guidance and career help, with Sean Combs and Will often mentioned in that same mentorship narrative. What really pushed the controversy further was the claim spreading online that Bryshere's mother, Andrea Gray, was aware of the connections or even approved access at the time. The story is told like this. When Bryshere was fresh off Empire and trying to grow both acting and music, he was seen as perfectly positioned to be guided by bigger forces. According to rumors, his former manager Charlie Mack allegedly had approval to connect him with Will and Diddy for career mentorship.
Bryshere Gray, one of the stars of the hit show Empire. Tonight we're seeing hours of new video from his July arrest that ended with his wife flagging down police and telling them the actor had assaulted her for hours inside their Goodyear home. The bizarre jailhouse interview lasting for 2 hours as they try to piece together a chaotic change.
And from the outside, it's easy to see why that pitch would sound tempting. 2 powerful names, 2 massive lanes, and what looks like a fast track to the next level. And of course, the internet loves to pile this part on heavy. People say Bryshere Gray himself looked genuinely excited back then, like he truly believed those connections were about to change everything. Folks dig up old interviews and clips, pointing out the optimism in his voice, saying you could hear how confident he felt, like he finally got the push to turn raw talent into a real career empire. But then the storyline flips fast. The same voices pushing these claims also point to Bryshere's later public struggles, moments where things clearly looked off track, including reported personal challenges and his appearance in explicit online content that surprised a lot of people. They frame it like a before and after movie. First comes the promise of guidance and success, then comes the fallout once the so-called mentorship ends. That contrast is exactly what makes the narrative spread so fast and hit so hard. And this is where it turns toxic online.
About Bryshere's mom, I'ma kick you in your in and I'ma go to work North Philly style. I'll kill and Charlie. You happy now? He's a gay star. Are you happy now, Andy? For a book that didn't sell. I hope that new husband of yours leaves you. And maybe it's time you tell your son why his father is really in jail, his biological father, for all of his life and what you had to do with it. You can see that came to me and begged me for my help. I told her to get the away from Charlie. I did everything that I could do to get Bryshere, to help her get Bryshere out of California into Chicago safe, to be ready for filming. She knew she knew what Will did to him. But because of Charlie, see? And Charlie had promised her all kinds of things. And all she had to do was pretend to be a broken down single mom who worked her way up through the ghetto and raised a superstar for television, when the truth is, she wasn't nothing but a drug dealer's whore. That's all she ever was. She went from dealer to drug dealer, and then she snitched on whoever she needed to snitch on until she could get to the bigger bag, until she got with Larry Lair, my friend who raised Bryshere in $1 million home. Your whole book is lies, Andy. And I hope anybody that bought it asks for a refund and demands it comes out of your pocket every time they see your son's gay porn.
Once people decide a storyline makes sense, they start treating every rough chapter in someone's life like automatic proof. Every stumble becomes evidence in their minds. That's why this situation refuses to disappear. Bilal's claims didn't create the rumors about Bryshere. They just gave them a new headline, a new villain, and a much louder megaphone. Then Jaguar Wright jumps right into the middle of it and completely rejects the mentorship angle. According to Jaguar, the last thing Will Smith was offering Bryshere was real guidance. She paints it as something far more calculated, where mentorship was just a clean label used to make a situation look respectable on the surface. And this is where the internet really starts stacking timelines hard.
Trying to slay him out so he'll feel too embarrassed to file his lawsuit against Diddy for what Will and Diddy did to him. With Jaden and Justin present, that tape exists.
Okay.
I really hope none of that baby oil was used on those kids. That would just be in bad taste. Baby oil on babies.
You can't say that the flavor camp was sponsored by Johnson & Johnson. You just come on. Come on.
Starting to sound that way, ain't it?
No.
All that talent, and she let Charlie tune that boy up on knowing that he was bipolar and had ADHD. What kind of mother do that to her son? Turn him into a prostitute so you could pretend to be something more than what you are, which is nothing more than a filly whore. You're a bigger whore than they're making your son out to be, that's for sure. Because he didn't have no choice. You was down by all. I'm sorry. The Bryshere conversation for me is not easy. Because I came to Bilal and I asked Bilal to help me save the kids, and all he was worried about was his fucking book.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Don't nobody care about these kids. Don't nobody care about these kids.
When people talk about Bryshere Gray's life shifting after those alleged connections, they don't just lean on rumors. They point straight to public records and headline moments and say, look how fast everything unraveled. One of the biggest moments people bring up is a widely discussed situation from 2022, where Bryshere was taken into custody and later faced serious legal consequences tied to an alleged dispute involving a woman. Online, that moment became a turning point people keep circling back to, and that wasn't even the first time his personal life hit the news.
Because he was like, Charlie Mack is not going to be able to be there because him and Charlie had something else going on. I arrived in Chicago for Empire. It's a damn mess. It's no other way to put it. This dude is going.
Back in 2020, there was another major situation reported around his marriage, including claims that his wife sought emergency help and authorities were involved. Each headline added another layer to the public narrative. Then came the images everyone remembers. When booking photos hit the internet, people were shocked by how different he looked compared to his Empire days. And comment sections did what they always do. They turned it into a dramatic before and after story, like his visible struggles somehow explained everything else.
Ooh, that your husband was doing things to boys and did stuff to your son and you ain't do shit about it. Bilal told me everything.
Their good friend who
Bilal told me. Jada. He told me that you knew Will was f***ing your child. Yes, he did. Wonder why he left that out of his Tasha K interview.
Yeah, in that interview, he said a lot. He said a lot.
He said everything but the thing that was important. That he know that Will Smith, Jaden, he went Bryshere and he...
But Jaguar Wright didn't stop at general commentary. Around that same period, she added more claims, alleging that Bryshere's mother, Andrea Mayberry, wasn't just aware of the mentorship setup, but may have approved it. She also repeated long-running rumors that former music manager Charlie Mack helped connect those industry relationships. To be clear, these are claims, not proven facts. But they spread fast because they shift the story from bad personal choices to questions about who had influence and who signed off. Jaguar then added another layer, claiming that after public attention increased around Sean Combs, Bryshere was allegedly considering legal options of his own involving powerful figures, including Will Smith. She suggests that pressure and fear may have stopped that path before it went anywhere, keeping the story unresolved and fueling even more online speculation.
Secret in Hollywood that Jada hates me because I have a strong relationship with Will and I do my own thing.
Why don't she hate Dwayne?
I can't answer that question.
Why don't she hate Dwayne Martin?
Well, she's gonna love anybody that treats her like she's a god, right? When you're a narcissist and a sociopath like she is, and I'll get into that, you want to be worse.
She frames it as straight up intimidation, like he was warned to back off for his own good before things went too far. And yes, Jaguar Wright doesn't stop there. She's floated a rumor about a private recording that allegedly involves multiple high-profile names, including Justin Bieber and Jaden Smith, all loosely tied to Will Smith, Sean Combs, and Bryshere Gray. She presents it like she's personally seen something, but that's exactly why this stays stuck in rumor territory. The internet repeats it nonstop, clips circulate, reactions explode, yet nothing has ever been publicly verified or confirmed. Now, when people try to connect Jaguar's talk about legal action to something concrete, they start pointing to online speculation about a massive civil case. Numbers like $50 million get thrown around in comment sections, even though nothing official has ever been filed or announced. Some of that chatter traces back to a blind item hinting that a male accuser could come forward against a powerful industry figure. And as always, the internet immediately started connecting dots, pulling Sean Combs into the conversation and dragging Will right along with him. And remember what was said earlier about Bilal claiming he had receipts. Bilal has alleged that Bryshere personally shared serious claims involving Will, and he also suggested Diddy followed a similar pattern of influence and pressure. The way Bilal frames it isn't about friendship or coincidence. He frames it as power imbalance, blurred boundaries, and people being pushed into uncomfortable situations. And that's exactly why this keeps turning into a wildfire online. Once those words hit the timeline, every rumor starts getting treated like proof, speculation snowballs, and suddenly the conversation pulls in the entire Smith family, growing louder every time it resurfaces. There have been rumors floating for a long time that Will Smith is extremely controlling behind the scenes, especially when it comes to family dynamics. Jaguar Wright adds her own version to that chatter, claiming Jaden Smith allegedly left Will's home as a teenager because he couldn't handle the environment anymore. She also says Bilal was feeding her information from the start, which conveniently turns Bilal into the source and Jaguar into the megaphone blasting it out. And Bilal didn't keep all his smoke aimed at Will. He went back on Tasha K's platform again and shifted most of his energy toward Jada Pinkett Smith. He went public with harsh language, accusing her of allegedly knowing what was happening and choosing not to intervene. That's how he frames it, and that angle is exactly what sparks the ugliest debates online because it turns everything into questions about who enabled what and who looked the other way. Then the legal pressure comes back into the picture, but this time with paperwork involved. Bilal claims he filed a lawsuit against Jada, alleging she threatened him after he refused to stay silent. He describes a confrontation at the Regency Commons in September 2021, where he claims she warned him that continuing to speak could put him in danger. He also alleges he was pressured to sign a confidentiality agreement, and that afterward, he began receiving warnings from people he associates with the Smiths' inner circle. Once that hit the internet, reactions went exactly how you'd expect. Some people repeated Jaguar's claims, saying young men allegedly rushed out of the Smith household. Others focused on Bilal's storytelling, saying the way he spoke about Bryshere Gray sounded like fear, like someone intimidated by powerful names. And that's where people argue it explains why Bryshere's life later looks so chaotic. But now, it's on you. Do you think this is a real story with real smoke behind it, or just a rumor machine spinning out of control? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like the video, subscribe for more deep dives, share this with someone who's been following the story, and hit the next video on screen for the next chapter. See you there.